Notre Dame is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win as a
He's going in. Notre Dame has scored.
It smells like Italian night. What do we got up there, DP? What are we eating tonight? Huh? Come on. Okay, wrapped up, you know, what seemed like 2 weeks of practice and preparation for Miami. I think about 8 hours of preparation for Miami. So we know Miami very well. We understand their offense, defense, special teams, their personnel. Now we got to go out and play the game. You know, you're always concerned when you take time off. Our guys prepared well. They had a good week of practice. We had a good day today. Got to go play the game the right way. Questions?
You've had great success after bye weeks. Is there a formula or secret to your success?
Oh, definitely, Tim. You know, there's there's magic dust that we have that we're not giving up to anybody. I just have always tried to balance the rest with additional preparation and getting a schedule that the kids really feel like they got some time off without getting too far away from what you're doing. Again, I would say that most of it has been in that Monday when we come back, we probably have our most physical and longest practice to get them back and recenter them. So I've done that. Maybe that helps. I think it's just, you know, a coincidence more than anything else.
This may be out of left field, but I'm responding to things that are being heard. Do you know who your starting quarterback is Saturday night?
Yeah, it's the same guy who's been the starter the last 4 weeks. I thought I made that pretty clear, but Everett will start in week 5, and we expect him to start in week 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. He is getting better. There's so much development that's taking place that's not on Saturdays. I mean, it's, you know, he's learning how to practice and communicate, and he's getting other guys lined up. He couldn't line up underneath the center when we first got here. He's doing all those things. It's coming. You know, it's just we're not a finished product yet, and I got a guy in Tommy Rees that, you know, is a guy that can come in and help us while we go through this process of learning. And I'm comfortable with it. I guess that's all I really could say. But, yes, Everett will start.
It's the toughest test for your young secondary with just the way they approach the game and looking to buy time and throw deep downfield, especially for maybe Farley?
Well, I mean, you could make the case that this week we can get into cover 6 and play double zone over there. And he's not going to get any action. You know what I mean? I mean, if we wanted to play the game, we're not going to play the game that way. So I guess I think he's been tested last week or 2 weeks ago against Michigan, where he had to, you know, he had to be a run support guy. He had to play some man. We expect them to perform back there. We can do a lot more things in coverage, and hopefully that will give them more and more opportunities to you know, perform at the level we hope they do.
You alluded to some things you're cleaning up in the bye. I think one was Ben Turk, and he seems to have strong seasons and tough starts. It's been something for 3 years going on now, even his freshman year a little bit. Is it a mental thing you just got to work through with kickers and punters?
Here's what we're doing with Ben. Ben's a great kid, and he's really, you know, I think we're just trying to minimize the big mistake, you know, the 22-yard or the 18-yard shank, you know what I mean? We're just trying to minimize that. He's been a lot more consistent, and we've really just this year focused on consistency of drop, and Bob Diaco has the punters, and Bob does a really good job with the punters and has really worked hard with Ben on that consistency approach. So that's really what we've tried to do with Ben, and I think he's been more consistent.
Coach, a good time for the bye to maybe temper some of the excitement, but then again maybe build up the anticipation?
Yeah, you know, I really, you know, I get asked that a lot. When's the best time to have a bye week? You know, I think it's probably if you have some key players injured. You know, we weren't a mash unit. We were banged up a little bit. So, you could say maybe it would be better 2 or 3 weeks from now. But you're always going to deal with the bye week. And at Notre Dame, whether it's good or bad, it's always going to be about a transition to getting him back focused. As I mentioned, I think at the press conference on Tuesday, was that we were coming off a bye week, I think it was Tulsa, and there was a lot of bad noise out there. So whether it's good or bad, I think there's always going to be that out there. And, we just try to recenter them, off these bye weeks.
Seems like there's going to be so much excitement in Chicago. I mean,
yeah, we're looking forward to it. We think it's going to be a great atmosphere and part of the Shamrock Series. And I know our guys are excited about playing in Chicago and at Soldier Field. So it should be a fun and exciting atmosphere.
You going to hang around Sunday and run the marathon too?
Yeah, that's one of the things you'll never see me at is a marathon. Yeah, I just don't
You
work
have an
well.
alternative uniform to wear Saturday night? You yourself?
Yeah, who does not have a Halloween costume in October, really? Because isn't that what this is? It's dress-up night for one night. You guys are making a big deal. October's dress-up night. Our guys are going to dress up one time. They're going to run out there. They're going to play a football game, and they're going to put those away for another year. So it's just Halloween to me.
Brian, what do you want to see out of Sierra Wood at this point, and are you seeing it in practice at least?
We had a good week with those things in terms of the running game. It hasn't been talked a lot about, but we were a heavy gap pull team last year, and we are much more of an inside-outside zone team this year. The reads are very much different for the running back. You have to be so much more patient, and we've really spent this week on the patience for Sierra in particular in our inside-outside zone game. He's done a really nice job of that. And, the idiosyncrasies of it are really big. I won't bore you with the details, but I will say that it takes more patience, and we really focused on that this week.
And the reason that you changed was because that's the style Harry was more comfortable with teaching, Harry Easton?
No, it's more in line with what I'm used to from an offensive standpoint. So the inside-outside zone allows me to be a little bit more nosy as it relates to some of those things.
Brian, a lot of people ask about Amir Carlisle. Where are you with him now?
Yeah, we're going to redshirt Amir. He will not play this year. He's made close to the kind of recovery we're hoping, and we saw some really good things from him. So we don't want to waste him now. He's really close, and to try to fit him into week 5 or 6 and use up another year for a half season wasn't prudent in my mind. So we're going to shut him down, put him on scout team, let him be a great guy over there to help our defense prepare, and then have him back for 3 seasons of competition.
Is this injury related to what he had in spring, or is it something separate?
No, he had essentially what happened was he suffered some nerve damage. The ankle healed completely, but he had some nerve damage issues where it was difficult for him to stay at full speed for a long period of time. That nerve now has regenerated, and it's a painstakingly long process, and sometimes there's not a real calendar to say when that comes back. It looks like we got him back. So once we know we've got everything moving in the right direction, we could now say, all right, we got him back, let's shut him down, let's make sure that we don't use a year up on a kid to jump him in on game 6 or 7 for a few reps.
That makes, I think sense to everyone. I would ask Amir, was it tough for him because he kind of battled to get him to play this year, as a transfer?
Yeah, we didn't want to put that on him. We wanted to put it on him in the sense that let's do everything we can to get you back. And I know it sounds kind of, well, why'd you do that? But we didn't want him thinking that he was going to get shut down, and we didn't get him fighting in the training room and working hard, and he's done all those things. He's a great kid, and really happy for him that he's going to be able to be here for another 3 years.
Does that apply also to the freshmen as far as if you haven't played by now?
We're getting close to that. We're not there yet. As you know, you got to make a decision up through game 6, and you can't play in more than 3 games. So we got a couple of guys on the bubble in the next couple of weeks where we'll have to make a couple more decisions.
Brian, there's always noise about your team, and some of it's not always accurate, but there's been some speculation about how the team feels who the quarterback would be. And my question is, would you ever take the team's temperature on something like that? And the second question is, do you feel like they see what you do in Everett, that this is a guy that's going to continually get better?
I think that I'm aware of our team, and I have the pulse of our football team as it relates to who would be the quarterback. And I feel very comfortable saying that our football team will respond to whatever decision I make. I think I've got the trust of our football team, that they know that I'm going to do whatever is in the best interest of our football team to win right now, and not to, you know, for a Manti Te'o and a Tyler Eifert in particular, who came back this year for another season. I know that I have their support, in particular, that whomever we put out there at the quarterback position, I'm doing it in their best interest to win right now.
Is it kind of funny to you that there are those questions? Because, I mean, Everett has had a lot of shining moments, too.
No, Tommy's a very popular guy in our locker room, and that's great. Popularity's great, but I'm going to do what's in the best interest of our football program for the immediate right now and for the future. And I guess my response to the question is that I think, and I know that our players trust that I'll make those decisions, and they'll support me.
Anything else?
Right, I'm sorry. Looking ahead, people, again, the question people ask, punter next year. Brins is the only guy that we see as a punter possibility next year. What?
We think he can do all the jobs. We brought in a number of punters in the summer, recruited off of a high-profile list, and felt like we've got the best guy right here.
Sorry if I missed this Tuesday, but Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the Kelly Care Foundation.
My wife had her annual fundraiser this year, Think Pink with Pocky, and it was at Morris Park Country Club. I think they had 26 foursomes, and the rain stayed away, and they were able to raise a lot of money, so it was a good event.